What's up, guys? This is Venom here. I'm bringing you guys my 100 subscriber, well, close to 100 subscriber CC pack. I've been thinking about doing this for a while now, ever since I hit 50. I was like, hey, I gotta do something special. Usually people do milestones, and this is a personal milestone. And so, in the description below, there will be provided a Meteor Fire link as to where I'm gonna put my CC pack. As you can see, I have other packs in my computer stored, but unfortunately I won't release them until I hit bigger milestones, probably have them better and stuff. So once you download that file, you would find a file called Venom Compilation CC Pack. Personally, I would like to say that this pack isn't entirely mine. I do have other downloadable CCs within this CC pack. I mean, we're all here to do the same thing. It's not like I'm taking credit for their work. Their names are in the folders once I open this up. As you can see, we have Astri, by Squins, Scythe, Evo, Floozy, Mufux, FX, Opticals, my personal own CCs, Wilson's, and this guy named Clean. Now, once you see this is the layout. The layout might not look the prettiest, but it is necessary. Personally, for me, it helps me out a lot. As you can see, there's a couple flares scattered across the canvas, and there's a text with an outlined border, and then there's a render here with a glow interior. And these are completely necessary because sorry, I'm kind of sick. These are completely necessary because first of all, when adding a CT to a render, you're always trying to change the color scheme and the overall image. And so having the render here is vital, and the flares are necessary because sometimes when you're designing a background, usually you do add a few flares and a few, like this one for example, this blue one that almost everyone uses, the nice blue line, and we have some different types of flares, but these give you a different feel as to what they would look like with the CC plates. And the border text is just in case you have a text that might have to change color, etc. So let's get to it. Each folder is divided within themselves. This gray box beside would mean that this color folder is a strange color. For example, this color here, it wouldn't give me a color correction, but it would more give me kind of a contrast to brightness kind of thing. I'll explain these things later in the video. So these are these gray ones. Let's start with some CCs. I have the CCs organized color coded. You're welcome, guys. Beside every CC there would be a color, and then a kind of brief description of the color. So this would be a gold. As you can see, once I click on the CC, I'm ensuring that the top folder is enabled, and enabling this bottom layer. It would give me a preview as to what the CC would look like. As you can see, it changes this flare, and it changed this flare. It changed the interior of this render to a nice gold, dark kind of thing. And then here we have another another flare that's been changed. And here's the bottom one that everyone uses. As you can see how it looks. And here's a bigger one. And then the bordering text did also change color. And then the interior render kind of changed shadows and brightness and etc. Let's try another CC real quick, one that kind of gets my point across. No. In some folders you would see, like in Floozy's folder, it's divided. It has a subfolder within a subfolder. So this is yellow and orange CCs. If you open up that subfolder, then you have more CCs to choose from. For example, we have an orange, a nice bright orange to all the flares, but it adds this kind of glare cross white effect that personally I don't like. And then that's when I go inside and I change some settings. Change this orange one real quick. This one is very clean. I like it. It's something usable. As you can see, this flare here, all these kind of, how would I say, cross flares, because there's a flare coming here and here, and this is where they would cross. Let's try a nice blue color because everybody likes blue. And here, this is a nice color correction that I use a lot. It's called Blue Under Floozy. Very clean, very professional. Something that a lot of people should consider using because this color is very, very nice. So let's get into the settings. So let's go into blue first. So let me open this up a little bit more so you can read. All the settings up here is what makes up a CC. You have your gradient maps, your selective color, your threshold, your postures, your invert, your saturation, color balance, black and white, photo filter, channel mixer, color lookup, vibrance, exposure, curves, levels, and brightness and contrast. When making a CC, we will mostly be using gradient maps, brightness, and curves, and occasionally exposure, occasionally, not always. And so, when you find a CC that you like in the pack and you want to mess around with it, just mess around with it, you can begin to disable some places. So let's say we disable this first gradient map, and it goes in order, guys. It goes in order as to which one goes first. So it would be gradient map first, and then this one second, and then this would change the effect, and this would change the effect, and this would change the effect. So disabling this would disable this color that we actually gave it, which is this nice clean blue. So we don't want to disable that, so we go to the next gradient map. The next gradient map doesn't make much of a change. As you can see, it only darkened it a little bit, and by clicking here where you see this mid-shaped O, half and half, you can double click on it and it would give you to the gradient map. And this is where a lot of people begin to change color. So imagine if we would come back here to gradient map 1, double click on this. This is the color that was chosen for this CC. If we clicked here, it would take us to the gradient selector. Now, many people already have a few gradients. You can find packs there's more preset gradients like I did. I found a pack and it had an immense amount of gradients. So this basically saying that it's going from a light blue to a black, and that's where we have this blue, and as you can see, it just fades into a darker color. So let's see if we could choose this color. If we chose this color, it would change the CC entirely. It would change the entire color scheme. As you can see, the layers changed, the text changed, the render changed, all good stuff. And so this is basically cancel that because I actually like that color. That's basically changing the primary color, and then this is the secondary color. Also, with the first gradient map, to get that color, to change the color, usually when you add a gradient map, it would always be selected on normal. This is what it will look like on normal when you add it. For the first gradient map, you always want to change this to hue, because hue is basically, hue is basically just changing the parts that actually glow and come out. So that's basics. That's gradient. The first gradient map that you apply will be hue, and I'm gonna make a custom CC at the end of this video so you can see how the process goes. And then this one is changed to soft light because it's really just adding a nice casting shadow over the blue. If I disable it, you can see that it get a little lighter, and if I enable it, also changing the opacity can also change that effect. So you can see that the higher I go, the darker it becomes. And then here we have brightness and contrast. Disabling that, you can see a preview as to what is going on once again. And this is how you guys change that the CC to look the way you want it. Usually CCs are applied to a render before it's actually placed on a canvas, so keep that in mind. And this black is more of like like a transparent sheet that just goes on top. As you can see, it's set on lighten and 50% opacity, so it's not really that dark. So disabling that, you could see the interior here becomes a little more darker, and enabling that, it becomes a little more haze, and the entire canvas is just giving this kind of smoky, dusty canvas kind of thing. Disabling that, going to a different CC and seeing how that one's set up. Going to my personal CCs that I've created on my own. I just recently did this one. This one's a nice clear orange kind of CC. I liked it. I tried not to give it such a destructive effect where it kind of destroyed the entire canvas, and so I began with a gradient map. So my first gradient map was set on hue with 100% opacity. Changed that to this color and then moved on, as you can see. So let's get to it. Making a CC from scratch, disabling all these layers. One thing you don't want to do is don't touch these folders. This is the text folder. This is the flare folder where these flares can be found. I mean, you can always take them out and make copies. And then this is the render that I have. And this is the background. And then this is basically the background of the background. Don't. Alright, so we can begin by creating a new layer and adding a gradient map. So the first gradient map we're going to do is I'm not sure. I want to do a yellow BG. I've never done a yellow BG, so I'm going to find a nice, that's really, really bleach. Something yellow that to me is I like this. Lakers, you know. Let's go. Laker colors. And then here, going to go slow for you guys. Change this to hue. It will be the fourth option from the bottom, hue. And we already got this nice color scheme changing, and it looks pretty nice. And I'm going to adjust the opacity. Bringing it down always looks better, but I mean, high opacity makes the color kind of stand out, so I'm going to keep that at 100. I'm going to add another gradient map, and then this time I want to darken the actual yellow, so I'm going to find a dark shade. And I like this green. This green is pretty dope. Keep that there. We'll make sure you're going from top to bottom. So the first one you do, then the second one, and you don't want to go out of order, because if you go out of order, you're gonna kind of find yourself lost. I don't want to overlay if you overlay a color. I'll show you that in a minute. I'll do it with the black. So screen. Just mess around with the options when you're going in order. Color dodge, linear add, lighten color, overlay, soft light, hard light. I like this hard light. It's giving it this nice lime color. It's really not affecting the interior because it's actually going around. So I'm going to bring the opacity down. Not entirely, but just enough. 69, get it? And add another gradient map, and this time I'm going to add a black to white, and this is where we can apply a overlay. So basically you're just overlaying a darker color and you're just making the canvas even more dark than what it is. I'm going to change the first gradient map from the Laker colors to something. There we go. And now as you can see that interior kind of changed color from changing the first gradient. You always want to keep these colors distinct to give it a different kind of color variation. So you can always just go by and find other gradients. It's always nice to try something new. And that is I like that. That is pretty clean. A nice purple, clear color correction. So now we have 3 gradient maps. So I'm gonna add a brightness and contrast. Increasing the brightness increases basically the clearness of the canvas. As you can see, if I lift it up, it made the screen a little more brighter. If I bring it down, made it a little darker. Contrast is basically sorry guys. By lowering the contrast, you make it brighter, and by upping the contrast, you make it darker. Basically, just saturating the canvas. So at that moment, I feel very confident with that. I might switch places with the first one just to see how it looks. As you can see, it really didn't do much, but details are the devil's in the details. You guys know that. So I'm gonna move my brightness in between my third and second gradient map, and above my third gradient map, I'm going to add a curve. So curve is basically almost like brightness and contrast, except it's giving you a axis and it's more symmetrical. So going up top here would increase the brightness, and going down here would increase the contrast. So by going up here, I increase the brightness, and if I go down behind this, like this line, and I bring it down, I'm kind of saturating it a little bit, and I don't want it that saturated. I still want it clear, so I'll bring it up, bring this up, adjust this, and I'm very confident with that. That looks nice. That looks very clear. Something that I would probably use. And maybe add a vibrance to it. A vibrance really doesn't do much. You just have to look at your canvas to see what it changes. In this moment, it's not really changing anything, so it's unnecessary. Let's see what else we can do. Really, that's all you really use. You can add multiple curves, and you can add a curve within two gradient maps to change that one gradient map. For instance, if I wanted to change the gradient map between the first and the second, oops. If I wanted to change the curves, add a curve between the first and second, it would affect the canvas in a different way than if I were to do it last, as you can see. And now to add that nice layer. Now to add the overlaid kind of gray layer that the original blue CC had, you can create a new layer above all the layers. Go top to your fourth options from the right, called layer. Scroll down fast, around 6-7 options. Click on new fill layer, and then put solid color. It'll give you these options. Just click OK. Then here, just go to the bottom, click black, but you don't want black. You want more of a haze gray kind of color. That's beautiful. Click that. Not overlay, my bad. Screen. Because you want it screened onto the canvas. You don't want it actually just like rolled over the canvas. You want it to be like transparent, and then you just bring down the opacity a little bit, and then you can get that haze CC effect. So you can see by applying these few methods, kind of gave us a nice natural CC. A lot of people like to do different. They do it differently. They can add. They use brushes, and then they add a color in one spot, and then they add another color in one spot, and they change the gradient maps of one color and then the other color, and then it just becomes very complicated. And this is just a simple way, just to you know, beginners. If you're more into the advanced level, then you should. If you were listening to the entire thing and you disagree with me, please leave in the comments how you disagree with me. Well, yeah, guys. Delete that layer. See, back to our original canvas. Let's try one more CC. Oh, if I got to mention, some CCs will come with a pattern. For example, I knew one of these came with a pattern. See, some of these CCs are pretty nice, and they're preset, like this one out here, perfect. This one did come with a pattern. As you can see, the pattern fill, it's basically just a bar. It's very minuscule, and you can't really see it. But as you can see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just like every 2 pixels, it's a straight line across, very thin, unnoticeable, but it can add a very nice kind of distinctiveness to any other CC. From far away, it's more noticeable. This CC is pretty clean. It's more noticeable on this flare. Oh, I'm sorry, added a guide. This CC is more noticeable. If you can see, really tell. You can see the pattern. It's right there. So yeah, guys. Thank you guys for 100 subs. If you have any more questions, concerns, or just like just want to, I don't know, just talk to me. My Skype will be in the description below. My Skype is AOZVenom, my gamer tag. And this has been Venom. I'm out, guys. Peace. My apologies, guys. I'm probably gonna add this to the end of the video. I wasn't recording the first time I did this, so fuck me. So, like I was saying, when you're finished doing the CC and you've changed the settings and tiddled with it a bit, and you have your CC ready and you have it open, click on this folder. You should have your render on another slide, and you should have this. So just click your CC pack, click and drag, let go, and it should bring it out. click on the CC pack, grab the CC that you are going to use, drag into the canvas of the render, minimize the CC pack, and then the CC should be placed above the render so it can change the render itself. And then from here you can tiddle with it as well. So you can see I can disable this and it would do that, etc., and do what I said. And originally this render was green, as you can see it was green, and it was really gray. Now it's become red and had a haze, kind of black to white kind of shade in. And this is what you do before you place a logo or a render into the Photoshop background canvas, because in this way, once your render is here, you can add textures. You can open up a texture pack and add textures here, then add the CC, and then have this logo nice and rendered and pretty nice. And then once you're done with that, you would just like click on the top one, click on the bottom one, hold shift and click on all of them, and then bring this down and then drag all this onto the canvas of the YouTube background or whichever thing you're doing. So forgive me for not adding that part at the end of the video. It'll be added like this. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I'm out.